Thank you, everybody who's been in touch with Priti Patel's appearance on our programme this morning. Very popular, I'd say, Isabel.
Yes, I'd say so too. Lots of people saying, well, agreeing with what she said, wishing she was leader already. I love Priti Patel. She is the most sensible woman I know, says Donna. She needs to be running the country as she's got the guts, the backbone and isn't afraid to take on the government. Also, she's right. The Conservative Party need to stand united. John says I'd vote for her if she was leader of the Conservatives, but a lot of you just very appreciative that she seemed to speak straight. OK? We're now going to get some straight talking now from the former editor of the Daily Star and the Don Neeson and writer and journalist Andy Jones. Very good to see you both. Should we start with some royal stories? Front page of The Sun is probably a bit of a nightmare for the Middletons. Not only are they dealing with Catherine being unwell and all of the speculation about that, but now Carol's brother, Catherine's uncle, is set to join the celebrity Big Brother house, and they are all very worried about what. Well, you would be, wouldn't you? Why does he need to do this? He sold his business for £17 million. I mean, he's loaded.
I think he's just one of those characters. A big celebrity Big Brother starts tonight, and there's 12 celebrity housemates going in, of which Gary Goldsmith is one of them, as you've just said. He is Kate, and we still don't know what's wrong with Kate. She's still recovering from her surgery. Her uncle, but he's always been described as the black sheep of the family. He's had 4 wives in the past. He lived in Ibiza for a while. I remember the name of his villa, but I'm not going to say it.
Go on.
What was it?
I don't know.
Villa Bang Bang or something or other. Yeah, something like that. So he's lived a bit of a life, shall we say. And Kate Middleton, according to The Sun, is furious that he's going in there because she's terrified he's going to say something untoward, especially with Kate recuperating from her surgery, which we still don't know what it is. I mean, is he going to let that sort of family secret slip? And he's also been very, very vocal about Harry as well. The fact that Harry has upset Catherine and, you know, has had a go at Harry. And so she's also frightened that he's also going to go more and more on the anti-Harry and Meghan line as well. But to be honest with you, it's going to be worth watching.
It'll be a ratings boost, which is why they probably
that's why,
huge fee.
Yeah, there's some quite good names going in there as well, so including Sharon Osbourne, who's been paid £100,000, evidently.
Oh, she's only going in for a week, though, isn't she? Is that right? A little visit and then out, 100 grand?
You would, wouldn't you? Yeah.
What was I going to say to you? Royal Matters, the Queen, though, we're hearing, is heading off on holiday, and I'm just not sure this is the right visuals on this one. If this, she should be seen when everybody's ill and her husband's under treatment and whatever. Anybody else have a view on that story?
Camilla?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's been filling in for a few weeks and she's gone on holiday now, and there's a slight question mark about her durability. But slightly positive, more positive news I wanted to flag up. King Charles is expected to be visiting Australia later on in the year, which, regardless of whether you're a royal or Joe Bloggs, travelling to Australia is a serious undertaking. So he must have had some sort of positive uptick in his diagnosis and his treatment.
Do we know when that is, Andy?
Later in the year. I think they've now. Well, they probably have nailed down a date, but it's. I've not cast my eye over it.
I noticed that the story says Australia's continuing to make plans, but there's no.
Yes.
Buckingham Palace. From the royal correspondents I've spoken to, there's lots of question marks about whether that will happen or any of the tours that William and Catherine will be going on, which they're disappointed about because they've got a royal tour. It's
come out of the mouth of Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, so you'd have thought they'd at least checked back with the Royal House, but who knows anymore these days?
I mean, Camilla's in her 70s, I don't blame her for taking a break, to be honest with you.
But go on.
Who's left holding the reins? I mean, we saw Andrew leading the royal family into King Constantine's memorial the other day, which was slightly like, ooh.
Look, Eamonn and I both are big fans of Queen Camilla. We think she's wonderful, and we think she's a very great, supportive partner for the king.
You know, I do.
But I don't remember the late Queen ever saying, I'm off on a girls' holiday, let alone at a time when Philip was ill or whatever it might be. I do think that maybe she should have postponed it until everybody's a bit better, given that there's not that many people still...
But there's not a lot when you've got Andrew leading the royal
pack. She's in her 70s and needs a break, but... the optics of it, bit tricky.
Do we need a bigger royal family rather than a slimmed down one?
So.
I mean, if we're down to Andrew...
Just give everyone a go. Everyone gets their day to be a royal.
But, Andy, I tell you what, there are a lot of commitments. There really are, and they're very minor commitments as well, which just need somebody to call and shake hands, cut a ribbon, whatever, and there are not enough people to go round. So, although it looks good, Charles saying, oh, let's cut this down, it'll not be a drain on the public purse and whatever, people generally want to meet a royal. They want to meet somebody important. For God's sake, they want to meet me and Isabel. They want, you know, they just want people to turn up and recognise what they do.
I mean, can you imagine if you needed ribbon cutting and Andrew turned up?
And also for trade as well, obviously, the Middle East, when we send royals over there, it does us a lot of financial good to have someone in our corner over there meeting people.
I'm Team Princess Anne. I mean, she works hard enough as it is, but, I mean, she's actually a royal you can respect.
Right. Participants in a major nature study agreed to be surveyed over their mental health while they counted insects. Dawn, tell us more.
You know what? Andy and I have scoured the papers for good news stories and some happy, feel-good, fluffy... Stop shaking your head at me, Andy.
There are any good news stories.
And this one is chasing down butterflies can reduce anxiety and help stress. Every year we have a big butterfly count in July and August. And researchers from the last one sent a survey out asking about people who talk about their mental health. And it's come back to say that the people that were doing it, all it involves is spending 15 minutes in a nice sunny spot out in the countryside or in your garden just counting how many butterflies and insects you can see. Simple. But it's the people that responded to surveys at a 9% reduction in anxiety. So it's just a nice thing to do, just to sit in a nice, warm, sunny place and look at insects and butterflies.
Well, I have to say, I couldn't tell you. I'm not sure if this is the time of the year to see butterflies or not, but I couldn't tell you the last time I actually saw a butterfly. Is this the time of the year for butterflies?
No, it's summer, July and August.
All right.
And we do. I mean, we're quite getting into it now. We go for lots of long walks, which the husband hates, but I encourage him. And we see lots of butterflies now.
Yeah.
Anything to get you away from a screen. Happiness is getting away from a screen, away from social media, and getting out there sort of lungfuls of air.
Touching the ground, it sounds a bit weird and hippie-ish, but I'm just starting on a vegetable patch. There's something very basic about getting soil between your fingers and grounding yourself in a world, as you say, screens and stress and all of this stuff, and getting back to basics and feeling better for it.
Yeah.
Saving a few quid too.
Yeah.
So, where do you stand with Sir Walter Raleigh and Sir Francis Drake, Andy? This is a story of a school whereby the head teacher removed their names from school buildings. Where do you stand on this?
So Exeter School in Devon has removed the names of Sir Francis Drake and Sir Walter Raleigh as they had them on buildings and as part of school houses within their school. They've said that they are no longer representative of what the school is about. This is because Sir Francis Drake was the first Brit to circumnavigate the globe. Apparently he was a slaver and he kept slaves at different points. And Sir Walter Raleigh, who famously defeated the Spanish Armada when the Spanish had the best boats in the world, he's now considered a coloniser.
Oh.
So just think what
like
we're going to be criticised for in the future.
It's like those two girls who vandalised a bust of Queen Victoria over the weekend. Did you see that?
Threw porridge all over it.
It looked like jam, but what was it?
And then they wrote a very, very vile, offensive word on it as well. I thought, you spoiled, entitled little...
But their knowledge of these things only comes from looking at the Wikipedia page. And the moment they see slavery or colonised or visited Africa or something, it's immediately a cross in the box for banish this memory whatsoever. But we only learn from history if we take the good and the bad. You know, we cannot have this sort of blind view that, history is always wonderful.
Yeah.
Learn from our mistakes of the past and make sure we don't do them again. But we need to learn. And we also need to recognise the good that a lot of people in the past did as well.
And see them in the context of the time.
Exactly.
Not judge them by modern values.
Yes.
Things have changed. As you say, we've learnt lots. Can we talk about this story, Dawn? This is in the Mail Online, and this is about a migrant who made it to the UK illegally and has had such a horrid time, they want to go back to France, I believe.
Hurrah! Yeah, this is the Mail Online have got a paywall now, so you have to pay to see this story. This is a chap called Mohamed Boumata from North Africa. He arrived in July after buying a £1,000 place on one of those the boats crossing the Channel. Arrived in Dover. it's not basically the land of milk and honey it was promised by the traffickers, and he is now penniless and homeless. And just wants to go. So he's now considering whether he can pay people smugglers to smuggle him back to France.
Yeah, he's talking about... In the article, he talks about hanging around Dover trying to get into a lorry. And you thought there was a sort of scheme that we'd go, look, instead of paying you benefits, we will just pay you the flight back.
Yeah. We can't put people on planes to Rwanda. He'd be volunteering to be the first on there. What is wrong with this system?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Meanwhile, foreign hate preachers face deportation. Andy, tell us why in 40 seconds.
In 40 seconds, well, exactly what you've said on the tin. Preachers of hate facing being kicked out of Britain in latest crackdown. The government's obviously had huge kickback on the way we've maybe allowed so many of these hate preachers during the Gaza, Palestine, Israel conflict to say absolutely deplorable things about Britain, things that would get you arrested if you said them outside of a religious facility, and yet some of these hate preachers are allowed to say X, Y and Z, and we're promising now to crack down on them.
Why weren't we doing it before? Hello?
These laws were already there.
OK. Andy Jones, thank you very much indeed. Don Neeson, appreciate it. Thank you for your input this morning.
Here's Greg with the weather.